Sheikh Abu Osama, I want to begin with the current issue. The French President Macron taken, that initiative to show the cartoons again in public, insulting our Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and doing all these things that really upsets a lot of Muslims across the globe. And we know that we live in the West and we live in Europe, and we have obligations towards the our Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we have also covenants here. So, how best can a Muslim living in the West address this issue, and what can they do, Sheikh, to show their resentment, show their objection lawfully, and also to show their love. Some of the people are angry and upset, and they want to do something. So both of these, please, Sheikh, if you can take it on, I really appreciate it.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. A few things, Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid, at the top of the list, it goes always back to the issue of knowledge, knowing how to move. We have the ayat in the Quran, لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. You have in the Messenger of Allah a perfect example. Prophet Muhammad was in Mecca sallallahu alaihi wasallam for 13 years, and he was oppressed, and he didn't have power, and he didn't have ability, so he acted a particular way. And he instructed the companions to act a particular way when they didn't have power. They had the haqq. Allah was always with him and with the Muslims, but there's a certain way that you have to act because of your situation. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. And then he went to Medina, where the ahkam of al-Islam were established, and he had power, and he had strength, and he had the ability to make the tanfidh, to execute what he wanted to execute, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So therefore, the scholars of Islam, they said what? In the ayat, ud'u ila sabili rabbika bil hikmati wal mu'idhati al hasana wajadilhum billati ahsan wajadilhum billati hiya ahsan. Call to your Lord with hikmah and with what is best, and argue with them in a way that is the best. So what hikmah is putting things in their proper place. The scholars of Islam said, if the Muslims are in a condition that resembles the Meccan period, it is not from hikmah for them to act as if they are living in the Medina period. And the opposite holds true. If the Muslims are in a situation where it's resembling the Medina period, it's not from hikmah to behave in the way as if they're in the Meccan period.
Clear, Sheikh.
So that's the first thing, knowledge.
Beautifully.
And it goes back to what you said about the fiqh of the makan and the fiqh of the zaman. It's the same kalam. Now it is possible that Muslims can be in a situation where they are as if they're in the Meccan period, but they're able to implement some ahkam of Medina. And they could be in the Medina period and they can implement some ahkam. It's not just blanketed like that. But I would like to say this. Second thing that the Prophet did for us, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is he told us everything we need to know how to navigate through our situation. So one of the authentic hadith that he told us, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is an amazing hadith. He said, لا تقوم الساعة حتى تكون الدنيا للقع بن لقع.
No.
Yawm al-Qiyamah will not establish until the dunya belongs to a man by the name of Luqa, Ibn Luqa. It's in our culture in America, African Americans, it's as if saying Yawm al-Qiyamah won't be established until the one in charge is Boo Boo the Fool, or Frank Sausage Head, or Benny Wee Wee. Benny Wee Wee is that guy when it's the Bedr, a full moon, and you say to him, pointing your finger, you say, look at the Bedr, look at the Bedr, look how beautiful it is. And instead of him looking in the sky at the full moon, he's looking at the tip, he's looking to the tip of your finger saying, where? That's Benny Wee Wee, that's Boo the Fool, that's Frank Sausage Head. So now the dunya belongs to people like that. The President of the United States of America right now, the most powerful man or mansab in the dunya, he is like that. Boo the Fool, Frank Sausage Head. The man in France, it was not diplomatic. It's not good diplomacy to do what he did. It's going to be a problem for him. It's going to be a problem for his country. It's going to be a problem for the dunya. But they do these things because they don't have the hikmah that many of the non-Muslims, the Arabs, had in Jahiliyyah. Abu Lahab and Abu Jahl, although they were imams of kufr, they were intelligent people in a lot of aspects of life. It's just their asabi and their ansariya and their bukht and kirahiyya, their hatred for Islam, made them reject al-Islam. But those people, they had a level of understanding about how to deal with things. But today, we have Luqa ibn Luqa. And that's why they celebrate people who are not very smart in Hollywood. They're always making movies like Forrest Gump. Friends, the famous program Friends, Phoebe on Friends. She's a bit daft. But the real Phoebe makes $1 million every time those episodes come on. So the point is, we're dealing with a group of people who are leading countries who don't have good diplomacy. So I say to the Muslims that during the time of the Prophet ﷺ, he was in Mecca, the non-Muslims came to perform Hajj. And it was their practice, although they didn't believe in Allah, they had some of the remnants of the religion of Ismail and Ibrahim. So the non-Muslims were going to perform the Hajj, and the Muslims were not. And it was from their practice that they did not carry with them their asliha, their weapons. So the Muslims were being persecuted. And they saw that it's time for Hajj and the non-Muslims don't have their weapons. Some of the companions went to the Prophet and said, Ya Rasulullah, let's get them now. They don't have their weapons. We can get them now. Prophet Muhammad told them, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, ma bu'ithtu bihada. I have not been sent to do things like that. Do you want the people to say Muhammad kills the pilgrims? One of the biggest fitnas today is from the people of the Khawarij, Daesh, ISIS, people who are extreme like that. They do things and then there's a fallback, a fallout as a result of that. So the leader of the Khawarij was a man by the name of Dhul Khuwaisira. He came and he grabbed Prophet Muhammad by his collar and said, Ya Muhammad, i'dil, be fair, you're not being just. Prophet Muhammad took his hands and took him off of his shirt. He could have broke his wrist because Prophet Muhammad is strong. But he took his hands off and said, Wayhak, woe unto you. If I'm not just, who else can be just? Umar ibn al-Khattab felt everything that the Muslim will feel like what's happening in France. It's not a bad feeling when we don't like what's happening. We want to do something about it. You have to feel something. Umar said, Ya Rasulullah, he's a kafir. Let me chop his neck off. Yeah. Let me kill him right here. Prophet Muhammad said, no. Do you want the people to say that Allah kills his companions? Because when the news of this incident spread in the Arabian desert throughout the peninsula, Chinese whispers, it's going to turn into Prophet Muhammad just killed the man. It's not going to mention he grabbed the man grabbed Prophet Muhammad. So there are many examples, Sheikh Kareem, of this point, the second point. Prophet Muhammad was at the Kaaba, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the non-Muslims, his uncle Abbas was a non-Muslim at that time. Some of the non-Muslims were drinking, getting high, becoming intoxicated. They took the intestines of an animal, a camel. Some narrators said it was a sheep. They put it on his shoulder and they were laughing. That was their entertainment. Not a single companion got up to do anything. Not because they were afraid, not because they were scared, not because they didn't love him, but that's what he taught them. Right now we're in Mecca. Be careful. Sabr,
Yeah.
as-safh. Take it easy.
And just to
The
confirm,
only person that got up,
go ahead, Sheikh. Go
the
ahead.
only person that got up, Sheikh, the only person that got up was his daughter Fatima.
Now,
And his daughter Fatima went and cleaned off his back with her hand, showing the love she had for her father, the Sunnah, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. She wiped it off. And then she said to the men of the Quraysh, the Kuffar, the same ayat that the man said to Fir'aun, أَتَقْتُلُونَ الرَّجُلَ أَنْ يَقُولَ رَبِّيَ اللَّهِ.
now,
Are you people doing this simply because he said, my Lord is Allah? He's calling you to Islam? You know him?
now.
The Quraysh, not a single Quraysh did anything to Fatima. Why? Because she's from their daughters and she's young and she's a woman. It would have been an aib for them to do that to. So they left it. So she was the one who made an amr bil ma'ruf and a nahy anil munkar. But the other companions hated it in their hearts. She made an amr bil ma'ruf with her lisan.
No.
And she gave dawah. And this is what we have to do, Sheikh, wallahi. Because if we don't do this,
Yeah.
we're going to create problems for ourselves that are bigger than we're ready to handle. And a lot more can be said, but I think you want to say something.
Yeah, just to confirm, Sheikh, the aspect of wisdom which you refer to when you spoke, like in Jahiliyyah, they had better wisdom than these guys. I don't know whether this authentic or not, so but the Finnish Minister of Foreign Affairs, he said, that came out today, Sheikh, I don't understand anything anymore. When we make fun of black people, we call this racism, and when we belittle or somehow question the Jewish experience in Germany, we're called anti-Semitic. And when we make fun of women, we are called anti-women or sexual prejudice. But when we mock Muslims and Islam, that is okay. That is freedom. I think, Sheikh, this is the top of the line of hypocrisy. I mean, this is a responsible person, like you mentioned, being a leader of a country. You shouldn't be doing this stuff. I mean, but the question here comes, Sheikh, what can we still do? Like right now, there is that boycotting French merchandise, French products. Would you recommend something like that?
In these capitalistic societies that are governed for the most part according to what they say, Christianity and Judaism, but especially Christianity, the main thing to these people is how important, how much money will they make and how much money would they lose. Right now, during the corona, 220,000 Americans have died, at least. But the real concern, the big concern is the economy and how much money are we going to lose. This is the main thing to them. And as a result of that, we definitely have to hit them where it hurts and where we have the ability, and boycotting their products is a good thing. But in boycotting the products, there's fiqh in that. There's a way of doing that. For an example, the Muslim nations who are in alliances with these people, and I'm talking about all of the Muslim nations. These people are making hundreds and billions of pounds in profit as a result of the economics that exists between us. And just what happened in OPEC in the 70s, when the Muslims said, okay, we're going to deal with you with this oil, and made the people nervous because it's about economics. So I totally, absolutely support boycotting, but with fiqh and with justice. Because before this problem happened, people used to say we should boycott the Jews. And we will say, okay, how do we boycott them? They would say we can't drink Mountain Dew anymore. And we can't drink Pepsi anymore because they're Jewish companies. I said, listen, man, as for Pepsi, I like Mountain Dew myself. Why are you making Mountain Dew haram on the people like that? And where's the proof it's a Jewish company? And people were just coming up with, folder confusion. It's not like that. It has to be something that is studied and something that is known. So from the Muslim countries especially, because they have power, they should absolutely boycott these people. They should use diplomacy to deal with these people. And trust me, Sheikh Kareem, the Muslims have enough influence that they wield with these people that if the leaders of the Muslims really got serious with this issue, as some countries are doing some things, but we're not seeing enough. So as it relates to boycotting, I don't say we should put pressure on every Amr, Bakr, and Zayd to boycott French products. If someone can do it and he wants to do it on his own, he does that. But he can't make that lazim on all the people unless it's coming from the leader of the Muslim who has taken that as a qarar in his country.
Sheikh, one more thing, just to finish up this particular point, is the making of humiliating pictures of Macron, like looking like a big, or like shoes stepping on him. Would you recommend for Muslims how Islam sees these things? Okay, you're making mockery out of our messenger. You know what? If we're talking about freedom of speech now, we're gonna do the same to you. So they depict him, in social media. I have seen a bunch of these pictures. I had some mixed feeling about them. But what do you think, Sheikh? Is that a good way to respond to that?
Well, there's a verse of the Quran that is really, really important for us to understand in issues like this, and that's the statement of Allah Ta'ala, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu la yadurrukum man dalla idha ihtadaytum. Oh, you believe. Those who go astray, it won't hurt you at all as long as you're guided aright. So two wrongs don't make it right in Islam. So if someone does wrong to you, you can't correct it by doing wrong to him. The ayah said, وَلَا يَجْرِمَنَّكُمْ شَنَآنُ قَوْمٍ عَلَىٰ أَلَّا تَعْدِلُوا اعْدِلُوا هُوَ أَقْرَبُ لِلتَّقْوَى. Don't let people's oppression towards you make you oppressive. Now, I'm Bani Adam, and I'm a Muslim first, and I'm African American second. I tasted and I suffered the racism of America, the systemic, institutionalized racism. The teeth that you see missing came as a result of the police trying to knock all my teeth out. I say that to say, when I saw the picture of the Rais of France in a restaurant on the floor, انبسطت نفسي, I was happy, I liked it. I mean, my nafs said, oh, I like that. When the COVID, I was happy. I was happy. But the point now is, religiously though, in the deen of Allah, is that something that we should do? I would say no, because that's not something that the Prophet used to do, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He didn't do things like that, play these little kid games and respond with a knee-jerk reaction that's juvenile. The Prophet was on a higher level, and as Muslims, we have to be on a higher level in the way we are dealing with things. So if Muslims just understood, Prophet Muhammad is the example. Where in the 23-year period of his Nabuwah did he do things like that? Where did he do things like that? The people who deserve to be dealt with in a tough way, he dealt with them in a tough way. And that tough way had hikmah in it. It was precise and precision. And we don't see him doing these juvenile things. This is not, in my opinion, the way to solve the problem. You had mentioned real quick, Sheikh Kareem, about what can we do? Boycott? I say the very first thing that we should do before even boycotting. If someone said, how can we get them back? How can we do it? I say the ayah of the Quran. إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُغَيِّرُ مَا بِقَوْمٍ حَتَّى يُغَيِّرُوا مَا بِأَنفُسِهِمْ.
Beautiful.
Allah won't change the condition of the people until they themselves change their condition. If the Muslims right now, we go back to our religion the proper way, these things will be sorted out because Allah wa'adana hada. That's a promise. So just real quick, Sheikh, I don't want to say too much, but in Nigeria, right now, there's a lot of drama going on in Nigeria. There are images coming out of Nigeria. They're not even permissible to pass around because they're so gruesome. My wife is in Nigeria. She's stuck in Nigeria with the COVID. My wife was telling me about a party, a wedding that was going to happen. And in the wedding that was going to happen, some of the women were going to do some things to enjoy themselves that are not permissible. The weddings in the UK, the weddings in Denver, Colorado, the weddings all over the Muslim world. When we have weddings, the munkarat that are going on in the weddings at a time like this, to be people making shirk, innovation. The 12th of Rabi al-Awwal is next Thursday. And the whole community, we're going to start doing things that are not from the religion. And as a result of that, we wonder, we scratch our heads and we say, why is this happening? Part of it is we just have to go back to our religion because Allah has promised us. He's going to save our religion and protect us from these kind of things. وَاللَّهُ يَعْصِمُكَ مِنَ النَّاسِ.
إِنَّا كَفَيْنَاكَ الْمُسْتَهْزِئِينَ.
That's right.
Yeah.
أَلَيْسَ اللَّهُ بِكَافٍ عَبْدُهُ.
نعم. بلى.